Flying boats, that is to say, a seaplane with a hull, are usually built just like this. Big, slow and cumbersome. And because of that, they were mainly used for long-haul operations and transport. But in 1943, one company broke the rules and designed the world's first jet fighter flying boat. The company was Saunders Roe, and this is the aircraft, the SRA1.
The requirement was for a fighter aircraft that could operate from islands in the Pacific Ocean. Due to the lack of airfields, the only form of air defense for these remote places was from aircraft carriers. These had a limited range and were vulnerable to attack. Saunders Roe developed the idea of a flying boat fighter that could operate from harbours or lakes. Thus, the A1 was born. The prototype first flew in 1947, some 2 years after war in the Pacific had ended. Although it showed promise, the need for such an aircraft had disappeared. Consequently, the project was suspended. It was rebooted briefly for the Korean War in 1950, but by 1951, the project was axed altogether.
Ah, right, yeah, so we've got the tanks there.
Yes, that's...
I recently got the opportunity to meet and talk with one of the test pilots who put the A1 through its paces. Now 99 years old, JO Lancaster has had an amazing career in aviation. Starting in the Royal Air Force and completing several tours on Bomber Command, he then became a test pilot. In 1947, he took a job at Saunders Roe and test flew the SRA1.
Well, it was very, very good on the water. They designed this extendable snout with the idea of keeping the air intake out of the spray. But in the event, the nose of the aircraft is miles from the water all the time. When it takes off, it took off quite a steep angle.
And in the air, what did she handle like compared to the other jets that you'd been on?
Oh yes, it did have a problem which they called the Dutch roll. It would all of its owners start doing this, and they more or less cured that by two strange things. They put an acorn on the junction of the tailplane and the fin, and then they put a sort of spoiler ring around the effluxes.
You then displayed the SRA1 at Farnborough, didn't you?
On 2 days, yes. It was there. Geoffrey did 2 days and I did 2 days.
Well, Farnborough was such a big thing then, wasn't it? To the eyes of the world, watch Farnborough Air Show.
Yes.
You must have had a huge amount of pride in displaying this aircraft there.
Yes, yeah, I think so. This was 1948, and that was the first year that they had it at Farnborough. Funnily enough, Geoffrey's plan and mine were almost identical. We had to do this. We had to tell them what we were going to do at Farnborough Air Traffic, and or flying controls they called it in those days. And yes, we did more or less the same thing, which included an inverted fly past, but Geoffrey was remarkably low. I don't think I was as low as him.
JO is a fascinating character. If you want to hear more of that interview, then check out the SRA1 podcast on the Plane Hunters website. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel.